Why some people seem to attract money effortlessly while others struggle endlessly even when they work just as hard. What if wealth has less to do with luck or labor and more to do with unseen spiritual laws silently shaping your financial destiny? Dr. Joseph Murphy said that money is a symbol of God's inexhaustible abundance and that poverty is not a virtue, but a misunderstanding of spiritual law. According to him, the universe responds to your inner belief, not your outer effort. The moment you align your thoughts with divine supply, you open invisible channels through which riches flow naturally into your life. In this video, we'll explore how to reprogram your subconscious mind for abundance, how to affirm prosperity daily, and how to use spiritual law to create lasting wealth. There are laws that govern your money just as surely as there are laws that govern the stars in their orbits and the tides of the sea. Money is not a mystery, nor is it a trick of fate. It is a form of divine substance, a spiritual current that moves through consciousness according to the law of belief. You live in a world of law and order, and nothing happens by chance. Just as you cannot defy the law of gravity and remain unharmed, you cannot violate the laws of mind and prosper. You must learn the law, apply it with faith, and then rest in the assurance that it shall produce after its kind. For what you think and feel about money, so shall it be unto you. There was a man who once said to Dr. Joseph Murphy, "I have worked hard all my life, yet I have nothing to show for it. Money slips through my fingers. I pray, I struggle, but it never stays." Dr. Murphy said to him, "It is not money that eludes you, but your concept of it. You believe in struggle, and therefore you perpetuate struggle. You must change your belief, for money responds to consciousness, not to effort alone." The man began to realize that he had been affirming lack even as he prayed for abundance. He had been declaring his poverty with every anxious thought. When he changed his inner conversation, his outer world changed. He began to affirm daily, "I am one with the inexhaustible riches of the infinite. Money flows to me freely, joyously, and in divine order." Within weeks, his circumstances shifted. Opportunities opened. Debts were paid. Peace replaced fear. The law had begun to act because the mind had ceased to contradict it. This is the first hidden law that governs your money. You attract according to your belief. What you habitually think about money becomes your reality concerning it. If you regard it as evil, uncertain, or scarce, you push it away. If you regard it as divine energy circulating through life, you invite it. The universe mirrors your inner conviction. If you see money as a servant of good, it will serve you faithfully. If you condemn it, it will flee from you. Therefore, to prosper, you must first make peace with money in your own mind. Recognize that money is an idea of God, an instrument of divine exchange. When rightly used, it blesses, uplifts, and multiplies good for all. But when feared or despised, it becomes a symbol of bondage and loss. The law is impersonal. It will express whatever you impress upon it. Many people unconsciously declare poverty every day by saying, "I can't afford that. Money doesn't last. Life is hard," or "there's never enough." Each statement is a seed planted in the soil of mind, and the law of growth never fails to produce after its kind. You are not punished by your words. You are punished by your own ignorance of the law. Change the seed, and you change the harvest. Begin this very moment to speak of abundance, to imagine yourself surrounded by supply, to feel that wealth is your natural state. Affirm silently, "I am divinely provided for. The riches of heaven are flowing to me now." Repeat it often, not as a vain hope, but as a spiritual truth. For repetition impregnates the subconscious, and the subconscious never argues, it simply acts. When you impress it with the idea of wealth, it sets in motion the invisible forces that bring it to pass. Your mind is the workshop of creation, and money is one of its simplest demonstrations. You do not beg for it. You do not chase it. You magnetize it by consciousness. The law is always working, whether for poverty or prosperity depends upon your thought. The wise man no longer pleads with circumstances. He governs them by aligning his inner world with the eternal law of supply. The universe does not withhold, it only responds. As you lift your idea of money to the level of divine circulation, you will see that prosperity is not something you achieve. It is something you allow. There is another hidden law that governs your money, and it is the law of circulation. Just as blood must flow freely through your body to sustain life, so must the current of money flow freely through your consciousness to sustain abundance. The moment you begin to hoard in fear, to clutch tightly what you have, you choke the divine stream that seeks to multiply itself through you. You're not meant to dam the river of prosperity. You are meant to keep it moving, to let it pass through your hands as a channel of good. A woman once said to Dr. Joseph Murphy, "I can't give to anyone right now. Times are hard, and I must hold on to what I have." He replied, "Madame, when you close your hand, you also close your heart. When you cease to give, you cease to receive." She began, though reluctantly, to release a small portion of her income each week, not as charity, but as a declaration of faith that God's supply was infinite. She gave to those in need, to her church, to the causes that uplifted her spirit. Within a few months, unexpected money came from several directions: a forgotten insurance refund, an increase in her salary, and new clients who sought her services. She came to understand that giving had not depleted her, it had multiplied her. The law of circulation had begun to operate. Whatever you withhold from life, life withholds from you. To keep money moving is to keep the divine energy of abundance alive in your experience. But giving must be done in the right spirit, not as sacrifice or duty, but as joyous recognition that you are already supplied. When you give grudgingly, you affirm lack. When you give with joy, you affirm plenty. The subconscious reads the feeling, not the gesture. Therefore, give with love, and it shall return multiplied. The measure of your giving is not the amount, but the spirit in which it is given. You may give a single coin with love and faith, and it will return 1,000-fold. You may give a fortune with fear, and it will vanish like mist. Remember always, giving and receiving are one motion, one divine law expressing itself through you. There is no true receiver who is not also a giver. When you pay your bills, bless the money as it goes forth. Say quietly, "This money blesses all whom it touches and returns to me increased." When you see another succeed, rejoice inwardly, for their prosperity is proof that the law is working. To envy is to deny your own good. To bless is to expand your own capacity to receive. If you wish to prosper greatly, become a center of blessing. Let every transaction, every word, every thought radiate generosity. This law never fails. The cheerful giver never lacks. You do not give to get. You give because you are already supplied. You affirm the truth that God's abundance cannot run out. As you live by this law of circulation, you will find that fear of loss disappears. You will know, beyond reason, that you cannot outgive the infinite. Another spiritual law that governs your money is the law of expectancy. Whatever you truly expect, you attract. Expectation is faith in motion. It is belief made alive, belief clothed in feeling. You may affirm prosperity with your lips, but if you secretly expect disappointment, loss, or delay, the subconscious obeys the expectation, not the words. Life always meets you at the level of your expectancy. A man once told Dr. Joseph Murphy, "I have said all the affirmations you recommend, but nothing seems to happen." Dr. Murphy asked, "When you say them, what do you feel?" The man replied, "I feel they are not true yet. I keep waiting for something to change." And there was the problem. He was waiting instead of knowing. Expectancy is not waiting. It is quiet assurance that the good you seek is already yours in the invisible. The farmer who plants seed does not wait in anxiety. He expects the harvest with calm certainty. So too must you expect your prosperity. When you plant the idea of wealth in your mind, you must water it daily with joyful anticipation. Each time you affirm abundance, feel the joy of already having it. This feeling of accomplished good is the magnet that draws the form into manifestation. Many people cancel their prayers by doubting immediately after they affirm. They say, "I am wealthy," and then add, "But nothing ever works for me." They pray with one hand and pull it back with the other. The subconscious cannot act when it receives contradictory commands. You must remain loyal to your idea, even when appearances deny it. Faith is not denial of fact. It is recognition of truth beyond fact. When your outer world shows lack, affirm silently, "This too shall pass. The abundance I claim is already forming, unseen but certain." Expectancy builds a bridge between the invisible and the visible. Each day, expect something wonderful concerning your finances. Expect new opportunities, unexpected blessings, divine ideas. Do not outline how they will come. Let the infinite choose the channel. Your part is to maintain the vibration of confident expectancy. When you wake in the morning, say, "Today, divine substance is flowing to me in perfect ways." When you retire at night, say, "I thank the infinite for the abundance manifesting through me now." Expectancy is the soul's declaration that it trusts the law. When you expect the best, you align with the creative flow. When you expect loss, you magnetize it. The universe always says yes to your dominant feeling. Therefore, train your expectancy as carefully as you would train a garden to bear only the flowers you love. The next hidden law is the law of gratitude. Gratitude is the vibration of completion, the spiritual seal that says to the subconscious, "This good is mine now." Whatever you are grateful for multiplies. Whatever you take for granted diminishes. Gratitude transforms your state of mind from need to fulfillment, and that shift opens the floodgates of supply. A young artist once said to Dr. Joseph Murphy, "I have talent, but no patrons. I live in a small room and barely eat." Dr. Murphy replied, "Begin to give thanks for what you have now, and for what you desire, as though it were already done." The artist began a practice each morning. He would thank God for his gift, for his paints, for his little room, and then he would give thanks for his future success as if it were already accomplished. In 3 months, a gallery owner discovered his work and offered him an exhibition. His gratitude had magnetized recognition, opportunity, and prosperity. Gratitude is creative because it affirms the reality of the good you seek before it appears. It removes resistance by filling the mind with joy instead of complaint. Complaint is the language of lack. Gratitude is the language of abundance. You cannot speak both and prosper. The grateful mind is a magnet for miracles. Begin now to give thanks for your wealth, whether visible or invisible. Say quietly, "Thank you, infinite intelligence, for the endless riches of life that flow to me now." Give thanks for every dollar you have, for every opportunity to serve, for every idea that blesses others. Gratitude is not emotion alone. It is disciplined awareness of the good that already exists. When you make it a habit, you will find that the things you once prayed for begin to appear effortlessly, for you have already claimed them in spirit. Remember this, the universe responds to your emotional climate. A grateful heart opens doors that effort alone cannot unlock. Each time you express sincere thanks, you raise your vibration and draw more of the same to you. Gratitude keeps you in harmony with the source of all supply, and harmony is the secret of wealth. There is yet another hidden law that governs your money, and it is the law of purpose. Prosperity without purpose becomes confusion. Abundance without direction becomes stagnation. You must know why you desire wealth. When your motive is aligned with divine intention, your prosperity flows naturally. When it is rooted in fear, greed, or vanity, it collapses under its own weight. Dr. Joseph Murphy once said, "Money is divine when used constructively, but it becomes destructive when it serves selfish ends." A businessman once told him, "I want to be rich so people will respect me." Dr. Murphy replied, "Seek first self-respect, and riches will come as a byproduct." The man began to shift his focus from outer approval to inner purpose. He asked daily, "How can I serve more people? How can I express more of God's abundance through my work?" Within a year, his income tripled, not because he chased wealth, but because he aligned with purpose. The law of purpose says that true wealth comes through channels of service. You prosper by adding value to life, not by taking from it. The universe rewards usefulness, not selfishness. Therefore, ask yourself, what can I give? What can I contribute? What idea can I express that brings more good into the world? When your intention is pure, money becomes a natural companion. It follows purpose as shadow follows light. The richest men and women are those who have discovered their place in the divine plan. They no longer labor anxiously for gain. They work joyfully for expression. The subconscious responds to love of work as it does to prayer. When you love what you do, you are tuned to the frequency of abundance. If you despise your work, you repel it. Therefore, bless your labor, whatever it may be. See it as the channel through which God's wealth is pouring. Say daily, "Divine intelligence works through me to prosper and bless all." Money is not the goal. It is the byproduct of right thinking, right feeling, and right purpose. When your heart and your work are one with the rhythm of the infinite, prosperity flows without struggle. The sixth hidden law that governs your money is the law of imagination. Imagination is the workshop of the soul. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between thought and form. What you vividly imagine, you inevitably materialize, for imagination is the language through which your subconscious receives its instructions. Every structure that stands today first existed as an idea in someone's mind. Your prosperity must first exist in your imagination before it can ever take shape in your experience. Dr. Joseph Murphy often said, "Man is where his imagination is. If your imagination is fixed on lack, you will live in lack. If it is fixed on abundance, abundance will follow you." A man once told him, "I can't imagine being wealthy. It feels unreal." Dr. Murphy replied, "That is precisely why you remain poor. You must make the image of wealth real in your mind before it can become real in your world." The man began to practice visualization daily. He would sit quietly, relax completely, and imagine himself signing checks easily, paying bills joyously, and feeling grateful for the money flowing freely through his life. At first, it felt like pretense, but repetition made it natural. Soon, his business expanded and his finances flourished. He had impressed the subconscious with the pattern of prosperity, and the law of mind reproduced it without fail. Imagination is the creative power of God within you. Every time you picture yourself as prosperous, calm, and successful, you are giving form to the unseen substance of the infinite. You are writing the blueprint of your future. The subconscious does not distinguish between reality and vividly imagined truth. It accepts whatever image you feed it. Therefore, imagine wisely, lovingly, and consistently. Do not use imagination to picture debt, fear, or limitation. Never rehearse failure in your mind, for the subconscious will bring forth that pattern also. Instead, imagine abundance, peace, freedom, and joy. See yourself surrounded by all you need, sharing your wealth freely, blessing others by your prosperity. Live now in the consciousness of having, not in the desire of wanting. When you imagine correctly, you align with the creative principle itself. Every night before you sleep, picture yourself living in the awareness of divine supply. Feel the warmth of gratitude as if your wealth were already present. The subconscious mind is most receptive in the moments before sleep. Impress it then with the idea of abundance, and it will go to work while you rest. Many people imagine what they fear and call it worry. The wise man imagines what he loves and calls it faith. Use this divine gift consciously, and your financial life will transform. The seventh hidden law that governs your money is the law of detachment. This is the law that frees you from anxiety about results and connects you with the infinite wisdom that knows how to fulfill your desires in perfect ways. To detach is not to give up. It is to release mental tension and allow divine order to act. When you pray for prosperity but keep looking around in worry to see if it has appeared, you are holding it back. You cannot hold two opposing vibrations, faith and fear. The moment you let go of concern about the how and when, you open the door to divine timing. Dr. Joseph Murphy once said, "Water cannot boil while the hand stirs it anxiously." So too with prayer, you must let it rest in faith. A businessman once told him, "I've been affirming prosperity, but nothing changes." Dr. Murphy said, "You are affirming, but you are also checking. You are like a farmer who digs up the seed every day to see if it's growing." The man began to affirm his good and then release it with gratitude, saying, "I now let divine order bring my prosperity to pass." Within weeks, a long-stalled contract materialized. Detachment had allowed the law to act. The principle is simple. Your subconscious responds to calm expectancy, not to strain. When you cling to money, you proclaim fear of loss. When you let it go in faith, you proclaim trust in the source. The universe responds accordingly. Letting go does not mean carelessness. It means spiritual confidence. It is saying within yourself, God is the supplier, not the visible channel. Even if one door closes, another opens immediately. When you trust this law, you are never afraid of change, for you know supply is inexhaustible and form is but its servant. Practice detachment by blessing every outgoing dollar, every seeming delay, every apparent obstacle. Say quietly, "This too is for my greater good." You will see that what once appeared as loss becomes a gateway to greater abundance. The man who is free from anxiety about money is the true master of wealth, for his peace draws prosperity like a magnet. The eighth hidden law that governs your money is the law of order. The universe operates in perfect rhythm and precision, and so must your financial affairs reflect divine order. Disorder in your outer world mirrors disorder in your inner world. If your mind is confused about priorities, if your emotions are filled with resentment or fear, your money affairs will show it. To bring order to your finances is a spiritual act. It is the declaration that you live in harmony with the law of the infinite. Dr. Joseph Murphy told of a man whose business was failing. His office was chaotic, his books behind, his desk cluttered. Dr. Murphy said, "As within, so without. Begin to establish order in your surroundings, and your mind will follow." The man cleaned his office, organized his records, paid his small debts first, and affirmed daily, "Divine order governs my life, my mind, and my affairs." Within a short time, his business began to prosper again. The law of order had re-established balance. When you bring order to your finances, when you know what you owe, what you have, and what you plan to do, you align your consciousness with the creative intelligence that governs the stars. Pay your bills with love, save with faith, and plan with confidence. Keep your surroundings clean and your accounts clear, for clutter in the outer world blocks the current of wealth. Say often, "Divine order is established in my finances, now and forever." You will feel a quiet peace descend upon you, and ideas for increase will flow naturally. The man who lives in order lives in harmony with the source, and harmony is prosperity made visible. The ninth hidden law that governs your money is the law of inner worth. You can never receive more than you subconsciously feel worthy of. The universe mirrors your self-image. If you secretly feel undeserving, unworthy, or guilty, you will unconsciously repel wealth, no matter how hard you work. Prosperity begins with self-acceptance. You must see yourself as an expression of divine abundance, worthy of every good thing life offers. Dr. Joseph Murphy told of a woman who said, "Every time I begin to prosper, something happens and I lose it all." He asked, "Do you feel you deserve success?" She hesitated, then said, "Not really." He replied, "Then that belief is the cause. You cannot keep what you mentally reject." She began to affirm daily, "I am a child of God. Wealth is my birthright. I deserve to prosper and to be happy." In time, her sense of guilt dissolved and her finances stabilized. Self-worth had replaced self-sabotage. Remember, money is consciousness in form. When you love and respect yourself, you magnetize people and opportunities that reflect that esteem. When you doubt your worth, you attract lack to confirm it. Therefore, forgive yourself for every mistake and bless your past. No one can receive while condemning themselves. Say often, "I am worthy of the best. The riches of the universe belong to me by divine right." Feel this truth until it becomes part of your being. As you lift your inner value, outer wealth will follow. You're not a beggar before God. You are His expression of plenty. Know your worth, and the law of increase will respond. The 10th and final hidden law that governs your money is the law of unity. All wealth is one. The money in your hand, the gold in the earth, the ideas that fill your mind, all are expressions of one infinite substance. To think of yourself as separate from supply is to cut yourself off from its flow. When you realize that the source of all wealth is within you, you cease to struggle and begin to live in effortless abundance. Dr. Joseph Murphy said, "You are not seeking supply, you are supply made visible." A man once told him, "I pray for prosperity, but I feel disconnected from the good I desire." Dr. Murphy said, "You are praying to something outside of yourself. Begin to realize that God in you is the source of your supply." The man began to affirm, "The infinite riches of my subconscious are now manifest in perfect ways." He soon felt a deep peace, and in that peace, opportunities unfolded effortlessly. Unity means oneness with the source. It means recognizing that your good cannot be withheld because it is already part of your divine nature. When you see another prosper, you rejoice, for you know it is proof that the law is working through all. There is no competition in spirit, only cooperation. Your wealth does not diminish another's, it magnifies it. As you live in the awareness of unity, fear of loss vanishes, for you know that all supply flows from one infinite reservoir. Say daily, "I am one with God's inexhaustible substance. The riches of the universe are mine now." Feel it deeply, and you will live it. When you understand this law, you will know that abundance is not earned, it is recognized. You will cease striving and begin allowing. For prosperity is not a possession, it is a state of consciousness, and that consciousness is your true wealth.